Hello everybody, sorry I'm hopping on a minute or so late. I typed up that whole description up there and then deleted it, so I had to restart. So welcome to day 5 of Meal Prep Like a Badass. I am excited about tonight. Also a little bit nervous about how many of you are actually gonna hop on. Fridays are hard, it is what it is, which is why I left it as a Q&A. Figuring if nobody had any questions, nobody would probably hop on, and if you had questions, you'd be here. So I do have a list of questions. However, I polled like just my personal friends on Facebook. Hey Brittany, yay, there's somebody here. I polled like my friends on Facebook to ask them just like, what are your, questions about meal planning and meal prepping? So I do have some questions that I can answer. Sometimes it's hard to come up with questions. It's like, you don't really have the questions until you're in it. And then you're like, oh shit, what do I do? So I totally get that. So I will go through those questions as maybe you guys are dropping some questions or thinking of them. And maybe even as I'm, answering some of these questions, you guys will think of some more. So don't forget about the Meal Prep Kickstart Kit, which will get you these containers, which will tell you exactly how much of each food group to eat. You'll also get a shaker cup. You get my meal planning template. So those of you that watched the video on Wednesday, you know what that template looks like, because I don't know what I did with it. You also get the grocery list that's attached to that. So if you want to do things online, you can do it online. If you want to print that out, you can print it out. You also get access to my Badass Bootcamp in April. So, that's what, 30, how many days are in April? 30 days of focusing on food, what to eat, how much of it to eat, how to prep, how to plan, when to plan, all of those things. We're focusing on food in April. Obviously you can be doing workouts and all of those other things. All those things are important, but our focus in my April Badass Bootcamp will be food. So if food is where you struggle, then you should absolutely join us. And then you will, in addition, get one-on-one time with me, weekly check-ins, however that works best for you, email, Facebook Messenger. We can Zoom if you would like, or text message also works for me. And then if you sign up by Sunday, you get also my 5-day clean eating menu as a bonus. So for $39.50 or $39.90, sorry, it's a freaking no-brainer. So, invest in your health, invest in your well-being, and you're not going to regret it, right? These containers have absolutely changed my life and my relationship with food, and that's why I share that kind of stuff with you guys. What'd you say, Brittany? The calorie bracket I'm in is way too much food. I can't get all my containers in. That cut off your comment, so hang on. Let me bring up the group on my computer so I can, that's why I have you guys up here, so I can typically read this stuff on my computer, because it cuts it off. I can't read it all. All right, so let's see. Where am I? I'm live. That's not me. Hold, please. Oh, there I am. Okay. Which really can't get on. Okay. So what calorie bracket are you in, Brittany? I think likely you're just not spacing your stuff out enough, or you're eating too heavy of foods. So if you look on the list, I forget what order it is, but I think the heavier foods, the foods that are going to sit heavier are on the bottom, and the lighter foods are on the top, or it's vice versa, one or the other. So if you eat more of the foods from the top of the list versus the bottom of the list, they're not as filling. And then you can get more food in, right? And the other thing is that if you're using the containers, right? The goal is to get as close to all of those containers as possible. But if you don't eat all of that food, it's not a huge deal. The point is that you should not be hungry, right? Because so many people, when they're trying to lose weight and be healthy, they're like, well, I'm just going to stop eating altogether, right? That makes sense, because that's what we were taught in health and PE, or gym, as so many of you like to call it, which drives me fucking crazy. It's not gym. A gym is a place you go, not physical education. But anyways, I digress. PE teacher problems. calories in, if they're lower, than the calories that you're burning, then you're going to lose weight. Well, yes, in theory, that's true. That's why a lot of people start counting their calories when they're going to lose weight, right? Oh, I can do this. I'm just going to start counting my calories. I'm going to eat 1,600 calories, and 1,200 of those are going to be Oreos, and then I'm going to have an apple, and I'm going to be under my 1,600 calories, and I'm going to lose weight, right? No, you're not. Right? You're also not going to be able to build muscle and get lean muscle and all of these other things because you're not eating the right food, right? So counting calories is, right? It doesn't really work out. And so many people, when they want to be healthy and fit and all the things, they just stop eating. Well, then your body holds on to the fat, and it takes all of the food that you're eating, whether it's good food or not, your body's still hungry. And so it takes that food and turns it into fat, even if you're eating healthy food, because you're not eating enough calories. So, the point is, right, you just don't want to be hungry. So get as close to eating all of those containers as you possibly can, Brittany. Okay, so I'm going to start, I guess, with these questions. Brittany, you're the only one that's on, so I appreciate you being here. And if you have questions, absolutely drop them. Let me bring up this list of questions that I pulled from people. Okay, so one of them was, do I plan my meals first and then shop? Or do I plan my meals based on what I see on sale? So I sort of covered this the other day, but I look at the ads first, right? I go through and I circle everything that's on sale. So I was on like a team call the other day, and I started circling things. Like, I'm absolutely going to get grapes this weekend because I love grapes. I would live on grapes if I could. And I just go through and I circle things, right? Like, what else did I circle? I circled Brussels sprouts and bell peppers. So like when I see these sorts of things, I'm like, for sure, we're going to have fajitas on Tuesday, right? Taco Tuesday, that's happening. I circled berries. I'm probably going to have my spinach and blueberry salad again next week because it was still delicious this week. Tomatoes, I can put those on my tacos. We like just like a raw tomato and cucumber salad. Brussels sprouts. I love my Brussels sprout hash. I just plan around the things that are on sale first. So I look at the ads and then I plan my meals based on those things. When you're planning your meals, and you know that you need a protein and a carb and a veggie, and you see that certain veggies are on sale, like obviously that's what I'm going to use because that's what's on sale, and I'm a cheap asshole. So I don't like to pay a lot of money for things that aren't on sale. So that's how I plan, right? Let's see, what was one of the next questions? How do I keep my produce from getting gross? So that comes back to that storage thing. I put all my stuff away from last night, but I like to use mason jars to keep things fresh. When I'm buying my produce and my fruits, I like to buy them a little bit firmer, right? Like when we buy bananas, I buy green ass bananas because I know in 2 days they're gonna be yellow and ready to eat for some people's standards. I like my bananas green, but whatever. It's just like, I think produce, or I shouldn't say produce, I think that vegetables hold very well. I think that fruits are a struggle, berries specifically, and I did go over that berry soak with the 2 parts water, 1 part vinegar. Soak it for about 7 minutes, rinse it off, and then dry them. I think that's a huge part of that. Like let them sit and let them air dry and then put them away. I think that's huge. And I store everything in mason jars. That helps a ton. I see you, Brittany. Let me come to you. Do I ever buy frozen fruits or vegetables? I don't typically buy them. I have a weird thing with frozen stuff. I don't really like to freeze my meat, quite honestly. It's just me. But, I only put like 1 banana in my Shakeology. So like to have frozen fruit is not helpful for me. I prefer to eat. I prefer to consume and chew my fruit. So there's just no reason for me to have frozen fruit. I prefer my veggies fresh. Now, if there was like a huge sale, right, on like frozen broccoli or frozen cauliflower or something like that, for sure I would buy it. But I don't typically even go into the frozen food section, like ever. When we shop, we stay in the produce aisle, in the meat department. We go to the eggs, we get some milk, we get a few canned goods like black beans or kidney beans or garbanzo beans or something like that. refried beans. We typically get like a salsa or something like that, depending on what we're eating. And other than that, we don't go up and down any of those other aisles, like ever. I don't even, no. So I don't typically frozen. But if you like frozen fruits and vegetables, then you could absolutely do that. That's just not something that I do, personally. Okay, what were some of these other questions? Okay, this person asked, like, how do I know what I should even be eating? Like, how much should be prepped? So again, that comes back to these containers and our food list, right? There is a food plan. So, you know, you're going to put your weight into a calculation, and it's going to tell you exactly how many, you know, your calorie range, which matters not, right? You can know your calorie range, but again, that comes back to I ate under my calorie range, but I ate Oreos and Doritos and Taco Bell, right? And I stayed under my calorie count. Wait, that's not helpful. That's not going to help you lose weight or be healthy or feel good about yourself. You're going to feel like shit, right? So that's the beauty of this plan, is that not only do you have your little calorie bracket, which quite honestly, I can never even tell you what mine is, because that's not what I count. I don't count calories. I count containers, right? And that's the nice part about this system, is that it tells me exactly how many servings of vegetables my body needs per day. It tells me exactly how many servings of carbohydrates, which are not bad for you, right, in moderation, I need per day, right? And the more you weigh, the more food you get, period. And, you know, sometimes when you first get started on this, it feels like a lot of food, and it is a lot of food. Most people are surprised. They get these containers and they're like, they're super tiny. Like, this is not going to be enough food. And then I get, like Brittany said, I can't eat all that food. I'm like, hey, do your best, right? Where this is not about shoving food in your face or making yourself feel overly, you know, full or whatever, but it's about getting the right nutrients. So that's what I love definitely so much about this plan. This person asked if I could meal prep for them, which is not a service that I offer, turns out. Let's see. How long do different types of meat stay good in meal prep? So, you know, I have never had issues with my meat not being good. I don't particularly love a lot of meats reheated. So I pretty much stick with sausage, chicken sausage or turkey sausage, and like ground turkey are pretty much the only two meats that I like reheated. If I do like a chicken thing, I like it cold chicken. I don't really eat steak, you know, so it just sort of depends on like the things that you like and the things that you don't like. Like, if you don't like reheated meat, then don't plan to eat meat that has to be reheated, right? Have a different protein. Have eggs. Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that question. So it just sort of depends on, I guess, what you like to eat. If you're cool with reheated meat, then all of it lasts just fine. You know, this kind of goes back to what I said yesterday, where everyone's like, I like to have my food fresh because it's gross after you've cooked it. Your food is sitting in your refrigerator raw. The same amount of time that it's sitting in your refrigerator cooked. It's not different, right? It's still in there. It's either sitting there waiting for you to cook it, or it's sitting there having already been cooked. It's the same time. The time is the same, right? And for me, I would rather have cooked food sit than raw food sit when it comes to meat, right? Anyways. Let's see, how can I divide everything I need to eat throughout the day? So this really comes with practice, and really just trying to make each meal that you have balanced, right? So like I said, based on the containers, you're going to get a specific number of, let me bring up my example here if I have it. You're going to get a specific number of each container, right? So for example, on Plan C, I showed this to you guys the other day. You know, you get 5 veggies and 3 fruits, right? So, like, let's just take fruit, for example. If fruit is something that you really enjoy, I would have a fruit at breakfast and a fruit at lunch and a fruit at dinner, right? It's something that you like. It's something that you look forward to. Spread it out throughout the day. Don't just eat 3 cups of fruit and then at the end of the day, you're like, I would really like something sweet, but I already ate all my fruit for the day, right? It's just something that you sort of learn how to do. Veggies are hard for people, right? 5 cups of veggies is a lot of veggies. So I always put a veggie in my shake, or I have been anyways lately, and I pretty typically do on a normal basis. I put spinach in my shake because I can't taste it at all, and that takes care of a full serving of veggies that I don't have to eat. I don't love veggies. I'm not a veggie lover. You know, and then I try to spread it out throughout the day. So I'm having 1 cup at a time when I'm eating versus having to pile like 3 cups of broccoli on my dinner plate and force that down. That's not good. That's not enjoyable. That's not a meal you're going to look forward to. Try to find recipes where you can sneak veggies in, right? Like if we make pasta, I'll like sneak veggies in by cutting up maybe even broccoli super small, so it doesn't feel like you're eating broccoli. Put onion in there so it adds flavor and you're getting vegetables without really just having to have like a side of carrots or something like that, if that makes sense. Brittany, or somebody just asked a question. Let me come back to you guys. Hang on. When meal prepping, what do you start first cooking wise? So I went over this on yesterday, I think. So if you didn't catch yesterday's video, Brittany, definitely look at that one because I gave a lot of meal prep specific tips yesterday, and I know you were looking for that today. I always start with my eggs because they just sit in the Instant Pot while I'm doing other things. But I suggest starting with the things that need to cook. So if it's something like chicken that you're going to throw in the oven and it's just going to bake, throw it in there. If there's like vegetables that you need to roast or something that needs time, if you're making a crock pot meal, right? Throw all of those ingredients in there so that can start cooking while you're soaking berries or measuring out, snacks or whatever it is. I start with the things that need to cook for a longer period of time first, and then I move on to my like raw stuff that I really just need to like peel, chop, measure, put in a baggie. Hopefully you guys saw that I posted those reusable bags are on sale again on Group Deals. I logged on today and was like, yes, I just talked about these yesterday. So definitely check those out. So yeah, I definitely start with the things that need to cook or require a longer period of time, things that could be browning on the stove while I'm peeling a carrot, or baking in the oven or roasting or whatever it is. Put that stuff in first, because then you can just sort of set it and forget it or ignore it, or while the oven's preheating, prep that stuff or whatever. So do it so it makes sense. Don't just like get home and start counting baby carrots into a green container while nothing else is happening, and that'll save you a ton of time. Okay, were there other questions on this thing? I'm dumb and need to the meal prep. I really need to learn anything I can, which is great. I hope Stephanie's in this group. That might be it. A lot of people struggle with the motivation to do meal prep and meal planning. I'm seeing that in this scroll. And that's why we started on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, about your why. It's important that you know why you want to do this, right? Meal prep is not fun. It's not glorious. It's not pretty. It's not something I look forward to every week, but it's something that helps me stay focused. It's something that helps me make healthier choices throughout the week. It saves me time throughout the week. And it's just something that I knew I needed to do, because trying to figure out healthy things to eat on the fly, as I'm sure most, if not all of you know, is really hard to do. You either don't have the ingredients to make something healthy, or you just you're not in the mood for that, right? Like if I didn't have a plan and I just came home and went based on what I wanted to eat, we would eat like Chipotle every night, because that's easy. I can order it on my phone, tell Michael to pick it up on his way home from work, and it's delicious. Yes, I want guacamole. I pay extra for it, right? So having a plan and having already spent my money on food Like, I'm not going to waste that, right? And I already spent this time on the weekend prepping these things. Of course I'm going to eat that because I don't want to waste that time and that money. So it's important to understand your why. Why do you want to prep? Why do you want to plan? You know, is it because you want to lose 30 pounds? Is it because you want to be toned and strong and you need to eat a specific way in order to get that way? Is it because you want to save money? Is it because you don't have time to cook in the evenings? Like, what is your why? And don't forget that. If you're just planning and prepping because like all the cool kids are doing it, then you're not going to stay motivated and you're not going to continue to do it. You just won't. Are there good alternatives to meat for vegetarians? So, I mean, sure, you know, the vegetarian meal plan for the portion containers is actually different. There is a plan for vegetarians. And so things like beans, which are a carb for me, are actually a protein for a vegetarian. So whereas I would have to measure it in the yellow container, right? They get to measure it in the red, which is a super big bummer for me. It's awesome for vegetarians. You know, tofu, eggs, there's a shit ton of foods that have proteins in them, including vegetables, nuts, those sorts of things. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get your proteins in if you're a vegetarian. Megan asked how to make or buy the right amount each week, which I did cover on Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday or Thursday. I tend to get really overwhelmed with meal prep, so then I end up not sticking to the original plan. How can I avoid throwing in the towel? In our April Badass Bootcamp, we're going to start slow, right? We're going to start with just snacks. If you've never prepped before, you're going to prep snacks only, right? So that you can do something quick, you can feel accomplished, you can see how simple it is to have something prepped and portioned and ready to go to grab all week. And then that will be easier, right? You will have mastered that. You will have wrapped your head around it. You will have bought in, like, yes, this is a thing. And then we will move on to a meal, right? And you'll do your snacks and you'll do a meal. So we're gonna build up, right? Nobody should go from I'm just winging it to I'm going to prep 7 meals for 7 days and be like the best meal prep badass ever. Like, nobody does that. It's not a thing, right? And if you try to do that, you're going to throw in the towel because it's going to be crazy overwhelming and too hard to do. It's just, that is not the good way to go about it. So we will take it slow in the April Badass Bootcamp, I promise. I think that's it for those questions on that list. Let me come back to you. So on the plan, can you only drink water? Like, as opposed to drinking what else? I mean, you should be drinking a shit ton of water every day, especially if you're wanting to lose weight. You need to drink water because our bodies are mostly water. And when you don't have water in your body is not functioning correctly. As far as like other things that you can drink milk, but it counts as a container. You can drink sparkling water, which I drink fairly often. I drink a lot of LaCroix and other sparkling waters. You can have wine. It's a yellow, you're swapping out one of your yellow containers for wine. I don't know what else you want to drink. You tell me. I drink a gallon of water a day. Sometimes I get tired of just water. Yeah, I mean, I hate water. Don't get me wrong. I drink tea. You can drink coffee. Yeah, you can drink other things. I mean, I wouldn't drink like juice or beer, right? Like, that's not going to get us to our goals. But yes, you can drink other things. Soda? No. Like, nobody should be drinking soda ever. Period. Amanda, when I have a sandwiches, how many containers is the bread? Is salami and okay lunch meat? I think salami is on the list. Definitely turkey and ham are. I think salami is on the list. And here's the thing. When you first dive into these containers, let me tell you exactly what I did. I took the regular food that I was already eating. I didn't even look at the food lists that come with this. You're going to get a food list that comes with this, and it's going to give you all the approved foods, right? And if you want to go all in, you buy your foods from that list. And don't let the food list scare you, right? It's literally just regular foods. But I didn't do that, right? I just took the things that I was already eating, already making for lunches and such, and I just portioned them using these containers. And what I realized was that I wasn't eating enough of specific food groups, and I was eating too much of a particular food group: carb, cheese, avocado, right? It is what it is. I would still like to eat a lot of those things, but that's not going to get me to my goals. And so like if you want to have a salami sandwich, right, I would just look at the list, and if it said like 5 turkey slices or whatever, I would use 5 salamis and I would call it a red, or you know what I mean? Like you can easily swap that out. As far as the bread goes, there are there's calculations, like you'll see on the list, 1 slice of whole wheat bread is a yellow container or whatever it is. So I know, Amanda, I think you said that you do Subway a lot. And I'm going to be honest, that's your entire day's worth of bread, quite honestly, even in a 6-inch. So that's not going to work. And I also thought of you when I posted that meme that was like, we spend $10 a day on eating out. You know, you could travel, and you're not traveling because you won't make a sandwich. So because you and I had just had that conversation about Subway sandwiches. So I totally thought of you when I posted that, which is hilarious. And look, if you guys have been following me for any period of time, you know that Subway and me are like this. I have not had a Subway sandwich in 7 weeks or however many weeks I've been doing this program. And every time I drive by a Subway, I'm like, oh my God, I miss you so much. You're just my best friend. I love it. So I get the struggle and I get the convenience, right? But you know what else is convenient? Prepping on the weekend and just having your lunch to grab. It takes less time for you to eat the lunch that you prepared on the weekend than it does for you to drive to Subway, walk to Subway, stand in line at Subway, all of those things. And it's going to save you money. Just tough love right there, right? All right. Do you guys have any other questions? If you don't, I am going to hop off. That's a lie. I'm not going to hop off. I have another announcement. I'm going to wait a few seconds. There's just 2 of you. So there's always a delay though. So I never know. I don't want to log off while you guys are like in the middle of typing a question or something. And there's no like little type bar that's showing me that you're writing anything. All right. So, I do have another announcement just because I received so many questions from people who already have the containers, or you know, you're already drinking Shakeology or whatever it is, and you're doing your own thing. Maybe you know, you go to the gym, blah blah blah. Maybe Beachbody specific stuff is not really your jam or not something that you need, but you need me, or you want me to be your coach, to be your accountability buddy, to be checking on you every week. To have those one-on-one calls and chats or whatever it is that you choose to do. You want access to the April Badass Bootcamp because you want to focus on food. Maybe not with the containers specifically, but maybe, you know, doing your own thing or whatever. And so I've received several messages from you guys asking me like, how do I get into the April Badass Bootcamp? But I don't want to do the meal prep kickstart kit. So I thought about it, like, what am I going to do for you guys? Because I obviously want to help you. That is my passion. I do want to help people. I will continue until I'm blue in the face, recommend people to do Beachbody programs because that is what has worked for me. It's hard for me to recommend something else that didn't work for me or that doesn't work for me. But I understand that everybody has to like do their own thing, and I still want to be able to support people doing that. And I don't want to tell people you cannot be in my group unless you're doing blah, right? So I sat down and thought about it, and I decided that I am going to put a package together. And what did I decide to call it? Oh my God, why am I blanking? Oh, just the bootcamp bundle, okay? So what you're going to get in the bootcamp bundle, I keep saying bumble every time I say it out loud. bundle, boot camp bundle, you're going to get me, right? You're going to get access to my group for 1 month. I run my groups for 1 month. So my group is going to start April 1st, technically. Happy Easter. We're not starting on that day. But I'm going to open up my group on March 29th. You get access to my group. You're going to get access to me for those one-on-one check-ins. And, you know, when you're in my group, you post questions, I answer them right away, right? It's not really like in this free community where I'll address the questions live, but I don't really come back to answer many questions after that. So you really do get access to me. You get the daily accountability. You get the daily motivation. You get all the recipe shares and the tips and the tricks that I use on a daily basis and or, you know, figure out along the way. Because I'm still on my journey too, right? I am absolutely by no means a know-all, be-all, end-all, right? I am right in the struggle bus with you all. Trust me. After the week I had this week, I just wanted to come home tonight and eat pizza and drink whiskey and sit on the couch and watch March Madness and do none of the things. I'm not doing that, right? Thanks to you guys and my accountability groups and those sorts of things, but I'm right there in the struggle bus with you. This is not easy for me, I promise. So anyways, bootcamp bundle. So I am charging, right, for the bootcamp bundle. It's $1 a day to be in my group. So April is 30 days. So the boot camp bundle, goodness gracious, I cannot speak tonight, is $30. So if you want to be in the April Badass Bootcamp, you want to join us, you want to join me, Amanda, Casey, Lindsay, Joella, and Sarah, who did jump on the Kickstart, then you're welcome to join us. And hey, Lindsay, happy Friday. I just said your name. You're welcome to join us, and I'm going to actually drop that link to that boot camp bundle. I still can't say it. Maybe I should drink whiskey. I'll be able to speak better. I'm going to drop the link to that in the comments right now so that you guys can check that out and sign up for that if you'd like. So again, Kickstart is still out there. It's still an option. It's the pinned post in this group. If you don't have the containers and you want to join the April Badass Bootcamp and you want to get that 5-day clean eating menu and my meal planning template and the one-on-one check-ins and all of that, that kit is still available. And I would love for you to jump on that for those of you who do not have the containers, right? Because these are a game changer. And for $40, you can have these forever and know how much food to eat. If you already have those though, and you would like to be a part of the April Badass Bootcamp, then I am doing the boot camp bundle. Yay, I said it right. So go ahead and fill out that form in the comments and I will get you guys in there. Brittany, did you just ask me something? How many days a week do I work out? I work out 6 days a week. But I'm following the 80-day obsession program. That is the program, right? If you choose to do a specific workout program or whatever, it will have its own days. For example, 21 Day Fix is 7 days a week for 21 days. But the goal is to get you the fastest results as possible. So of course there are no rest days. Depending on what program you are, I would say most of them are 6 days a week with a rest day. If you're not gonna do a Beachbody program, I still think you should be working out 5 to 6 days a week. That's my personal opinion. It sounds like you have the containers, Brittany. So do you have also a workout program? Do you have BOD or something? Lindsay, you heard me say your name. You must have felt the vibe. I was going to say your name, so you hopped on here. All right, well, if you guys don't have, you're doing A Little Obsessed. I loved A Little Obsessed. Are you doing A Little Obsessed so that you can do 80-day obsession? Or you're just doing A Little Obsessed because you're just a little bit obsessed? If you guys have any other questions, you can definitely drop them in the comments. Otherwise, I'm gonna let you guys go. Oh, you know what? I take that back. JP asked a question in in Making Time for Me, which was how to figure out containers for a regular recipe. And this is actually a really, really great question. So unfortunately, there's not like a website or an app or whatever where you can just like, you know, drop a recipe and it'll just pop out the container amounts for you. Somebody should invent that. I'm not techie enough for that, but somebody should totally do that. So what I do, right, if you have like a regular recipe, let's say it's I don't know why I keep coming up with spaghetti. It's just an easy one to do. Or pasta anyways. Let's say you have a, you know, pasta recipe and it calls for, you know, a pound of ground beef. You know, we'll start there, whatever. Brown up the ground beef, right? And then measure it with this container. I'm going to tell you about a pound of ground turkey typically makes about 3-ish of these containers once it's cooked. Even though it says it's a pound, blah, 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 all the things, right? About 3-ish red containers. I just know that from experience. I've been doing this for over 2 years, right? Almost 3 years. Very close to 3 years. And then, you know, if your recipe calls for 4 cups of a particular vegetable, right? You know that your green container is a cup. So 4 cups is going into that whole recipe, right? If it calls for, you know, 3 cups, let's make it 4. 4 cups of pasta, right? Well, this is half of a cup, so you're going to use 8 of these. That's going into the whole recipe, right? So then your recipe, every recipe tells you how many servings it makes. So let's say it makes 4 servings. You cut whatever it is into fourths, eyeball it the best you can, right? This is not an exact science, folks. 1 extra noodle is not going to kill you, right? Cut it up into fourths, and then you know that each portion is, you know, 1 green and 2 yellows and whatever else is in it, right? They're just measuring cups, right? Don't make this like a big foreign object. This is a cup, this is a half of a cup, this is 3/4 of a cup, like whatever. It's just easier to use these, right? Because you now know like, oh, that's my protein, and that's my carb, and that's my vegetable, and that's my fruit, or whatever it is. So it's very easy to use regular recipes. That being said, once you commit to these containers, unless it's like a family recipe or like something that you're really committed to sticking to that particular recipe, you guys use Pinterest. There are thousands of Portion Fix approved recipes that did all the work for you, right? They tell you all of the amounts that you need in the recipe, and then at the bottom it says it makes this many servings and these are the these are the container amounts. And then you don't have to think about it. You just make it and then you look at it and you're like, yep, 2 greens, a yellow, and a this and a that, and call it a day, right? Other people did the work for you. Take the easy road, okay? For eating out, how do the containers work? So, you know, as far as like going to a restaurant, I mean, you can absolutely order things and then eyeball it. You can absolutely take your containers with you. Or, you know, you can do this thing where you just go out and eat whatever the fuck you want and then just get right back on track the next day. It's sort of up to you, depending on how committed you are to your meal plan. You know, before I was doing 80-Day Obsession, like I would just eat out and have whatever I wanted. We've eaten out once since I've been doing 80-Day Obsession. I ordered a chicken and Brussels sprout dish. I ate what I thought looked like a red container worth of chicken, a green container worth of Brussels sprouts, and it also came with potatoes. And I ate what I thought looked like a yellow container worth of potatoes. And I felt good about what I did, right? You can definitely eyeball those sorts of things. Or you can just go out and have a good time and eat whatever you want and just get back on track the next meal. Unless you're eating out every single night, I think you'll be fine. However, if you struggle with falling off and actually getting back on, that's something that you and I can work together, you know, one-on-one with. All right. Oh, you are wanting to do 80-Day Obsession. That's awesome. I love it. I'm having a great time. It's amazing results and a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I was really afraid of the timed nutrition, and it's been great. I'm going to stick with the timed nutrition even when I'm done. So, and probably do another round actually of 80-Day Obsession. Take a small break and then do another round. All right. Well, I'm going to hop off. This is a 40-minute call. So I feel like You guys are probably good on questions. If you have questions, if you hop onto this one a little bit later, I probably will come back to this one and answer some questions over the weekend, just because I know Fridays are rough. People have lives. I don't, but people do. And so I will come back and answer questions on this video. I do want to remind you guys, though, as you're watching these videos, they will not stay up here forever, so they will go away. So make sure you watch them, get all the information you want from them, because they will be removed eventually. Don't forget about the Meal Prep Kickstart Kit. Don't forget about the Boot Camp Bundle. Depending on which one works best for you, they're both an amazing deal. I mean, $1 a day to be in my group and have a personal coach, who's me, is not $30. Are you joking me? It's a super, super amazing deal. So, yeah, if you guys have questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a good night. See ya.